Hey guys, Jim here. Wanted to introduce you to a new model from Mikkel Willumsen called the Urban Dagger, and that's what's actually sitting inside of his packaging right here. Surrounding it are his current smaller versions of the CWC. And you've seen me do videos on the CWC recently on my own. And when you look at the CWC, if you're just getting to know Mikkel's work in the past year or so, this is probably the model that you're most familiar with. Whether it be the large 5-inch model or it be the smaller 3.5-inch variation, this is really what's been his bread and butter for the past year. A lot of these have gone out the door, and a lot of people have gotten very, very excited about these because, I mean, shit, Mikkel does stuff that really nobody else does. He experiments with insane compound grinds like you see here. He works with a wonderful combination of various different materials, and he does so in a way that a lot of other people don't. I mean, just looking at the way he's configured this with very deeply sculpted black and green G10, instead of being all G10 over the titanium, or maybe G10 at the bolster and titanium for the frame. He's kind of flipped it around and reversed it. I also like the fact that he embraces hardware. He makes everything look very, very industrial, and that's really probably going to be that influence that he has from living in Copenhagen. And he works out of an old, I don't want to say abandoned, but an old factory is where he actually does all of his work, is where his machines are. So everything you see is going to be a very, very industrial look. He uses really huge, oversized pieces for his hardware, for his blade stops. He does unique finishing on many of them, like this very, very rich heat-treated bronze. Here you've got the blue mylar lightning strike carbon fiber inlay. He does a lot of really cool stuff. He likes to stick with frame locks. He is doing some incredible balisongs as well. A good friend of mine actually has one of his balisongs and he absolutely loves it. Now, all of these are fresh from Mikkel's shop. They haven't been lubed up or anything. It's whatever he did. Basically, he and I talked before the Blade Show, and I had seen pictures that he had put up of his new Urban Dagger, and I'm like, holy shit, that is the coolest grind ever. I really want to see one of those. He's like, well, I tell you what, I'll send you one to kind of play with and take a look at and see if you want to get one or not. And I'll send you a whole bunch more if you'll just kind of be the waypoint for GP knives and just kind of send everything along to them when you're done fondling them. So all the knives that you're going to see right here are going to be available on gpknives.com within a couple of days. I'm going to ship these out. Let's see, today is actually the 4th of July. It's Friday, so I'll be shipping them out on Monday, and they should probably have them up in the next week or so. So if you like any of the ones you're seeing here, head on over to the great guys over at gpknives.com. But right now, we are going to put our focus where it belongs, and that's going to be on the new Urban Dagger. So this is the packaging that you'll generally receive on most of the Willumsen knives. Open that up, and there will be paperwork inside. I just took it out here just so it's not in my way. And inside, will be this big bad sumbitch. Now closed, this is 5 3/4 inches. So even as a closed knife, this is no joke. It is going to be a big sumbitch, and it's going to take up a lot of room in the pocket. If you're like me and you dedicate that pocket to only your knife, it's not going to be a big deal. If you like carrying a whole bunch of other things in there, you might want to reconsider and put your keys in the other pocket for the day. This thing is going to dominate your pocket. It's also pretty hefty. It's just under 8 ounces in weight. It is quite hefty, but it's actually really easy to maneuver around in the hand. Now, he set his detent pretty far back here, and it's a very strong detent, so when you get this ripped open, you feel it. And the reason why I had to sample one of these myself is that grind. This thing is almost beyond words. It's incredible, man. Crazy sharp on this edge. What he's doing here is creating a false edge up here, but it is I mean, it's got a little bit of bite to it. Obviously, you see it has no sharp edge, but it definitely is ground down very, very far. Now, he's achieving this incredible three-dimensionality on this blade by doing a chisel grind. So this side is completely flat. It's got a really nice clean satin finish. There is the Urban Tactical logo. And it takes up the entire frame in my camera. It is massive. What you're looking at is overall length 10 full inches. This is pretty much like carrying a Halo 5. You're getting a blade length of, well over 4¼ inches, actually 4.3 inches in length. And the actual cutting surface is going to be just a touch over 4 inches. It's massive. It's CPM 154. So great all around, very, very useful steel, of course. And it feels fantastic. You really have to commit to a really, really large knife, however. And for those of you that do enjoy the larger knives, you're going to enjoy the shit out of this one. This is why I love Mikkel's work. You know, I mentioned earlier that he has a very much larger than life personality. He's a very excitable, very, I don't know, just really full of life kind of guy. And that's exactly what he brings forth in his designs. Everything is out of the box. Everything is different. You can't look at one of his knives and go, oh, that reminds me of so-and-so's knife or so-and-so's design, because it really doesn't. Everything he does is bold and very different. His handle shapes even. Take a good look at this. Now it's got kind of a sway back look here in the handle. Very aggressive jimping along the top edge. And I love this cutaway here, thinning the frame down. So when it's in the hand, and do realize I'm keeping my ring very far away from the frame, so don't worry about that. When you put this in the hand, even though it's monstrous and it's huge, I wear a size large glove, and it's still sticking out the front and back. This is a monster, but it feels so nice in the hand. As far as a reverse handhold, same deal. Feels just as good. The ergonomics are fantastic. It's got a great balance overall. And yeah, that wicked, wicked grind. Let's give you some nice close-up looks here. So it's basically a series of hollow grinds, and a big hollow grind in the middle of another hollow grind. Flat ground at the tip. Flat ground at the tip at the top. And then a little secondary bevel here that's really just going to be a top swedge that creates the look of a double-edged dagger. And notice the beautiful finishing work too. In each of the grinds, it doesn't look sloppy, it doesn't look over-machined, it doesn't look cheap in any way. Now you got to realize this knife is nearly $1,000. This is a piece that he's put a lot of work into, and everything is going to be perfectly finished. His stone wash is super dark, and it feels almost smooth as glass. Has a really, really nice feel to it. There is the custom pivot, or custom anodized pivot, I should say. Love the mill work there. Nice clean inlay. Hardware looks good in there. His big, massive hardware across the back. Another impressive piece of hardware there holding the pocket clip in. Triple cutout notch for the lock bar cutout. Oh, did you hear that detent? Listen to that. See if we can get you right in there on the action. Wow. Everything about the knife is very cleanly done. And while it is a big beast in the hand, and it is going to be somewhat of a challenge for some people to carry legally, again, because it's well over a 4¼ inch blade, it's worth the effort. Sure, it's a whole hell of a lot easier to carry around a 3.5-inch CWC. And it certainly looks great. Nobody's ever going to complain about that. But there's something about this grind on the Urban Dagger that just really, really does it for me. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a quick look at this. I don't have a lot of time with it. Unfortunately, this actually arrived while I was in Atlanta at the Blade Show, and I've been so busy with work and family and other things, I haven't had a chance to sit down and get this video done. So I've been sitting on these for like 3 weeks, and I had to apologize to GP Knives for that. But I talked to Mikkel and said, okay, I'm going to try and get this done as quickly as possible so I can get these out there to them. Just wow. I have had a lot of fun playing with this one, by the way. Just great action, pretty smooth, very fast for such a huge blade. Very, 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 very fast. Alright guys, so I want to just give you a quick look at that. Nothing, particularly in-depth on this. Just want to give you another introduction to Mikkel if you haven't seen my 3 prior videos about his work, and give you an idea of how differently he thinks and how differently he makes his knives. And if you've ever wanted to get something that has this bold and aggressive of a look, and not look cookie cutter, not look like everybody else's designs, support a great guy. Pick up one of his knives, whether you're buying from one of his many dealers or you're buying direct. If you decide, oh man, I want this all in Damascus and I want pearl inlays and this and this and that, he'll do anything. I mean, literally anything. If you can think of it and it can feasibly be crafted, then he will do it. And he does work both fully handmade knives, and he also does a lot of work with CNC. He kind of does everything, so he's got a particular talent and flexibility that really allows him to never say no. So if you've got something crazy in your mind, and you like his designs, and you like the aggressive, bold nature in which he makes his knives, then I think it's going to be a match made in heaven, because if you can think of it, and it can be done, he will do it. Alright guys, that's it for me right now. I'm going to head on out of here. I got to get some more videos done before time runs out. I only have so much time in my day, unfortunately, to sit down and do these videos. My life has gotten a lot more complicated and a lot more busy, but I am trying to keep content fresh on my channel. So thank you guys for being as patient as you have been. Thank you for following me on Instagram as always. And yes, I get your messages. Yes, I hear you when you say we miss seeing more videos. I am busting my butt trying to get some more out to you, and I'm going to carve out a little more time in my life to make sure that this is back to being somewhat of a priority. So there's maybe at least 1 or 2 videos a week that I can churn out for you guys. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you on the next video.